Hi Cancer, welcome back to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth and I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. This Cancer is your intuitive reading for the time between the 12th of June and the 18th of June. I'm going to draw some cards looking at love, career and just overall general energies for this week. I've already shuffled and meditated. I'll do a little bit more of that on camera, my darlings, and then we'll get started. Okay, my darlings, card at the base of the reading, and this, remember, the card at the base of the reading is the overall perspective that you need to see this week through. And what a lovely card. It's the Six of Wands. Lovely. This is a card of victory, my darling. This is a card of victory. So number sixes are, read the description box below for a full breakdown of the astrology in June. Number six is on the tree of life is beauty. And I always talk about beauty as being the appreciation of something. So to be able to look at something and appreciate it, to be able to think back to something and appreciate what it brought to your life, what it gave you. And that in itself is such a healing perspective. It's a healing way of thinking about things and about approaching life. And there's a real confidence coming through for you this week. Now, if I could draw you a picture of what my brain is doing right now, it would, a 3D picture would look something like this. Because there seems to be a lot of energy for you, a lot of mental energy, a lot of excitement this week, a lot of thinking, a lot of not procrast, just you're like firing on all cylinders this week, Cancer. You seem very animated for some reason. So let's have a look into the key energies for this week, and this is going to start with this card. This is going to be the last card that you see as well. Okay, it came out clarifying that, so it'll be the last card that I show you anyway. That's what I'm doing. And we've got the King of Pentacles first of all. Now Cancer, just so you remember, coming up very soon at the beginning of July, around I think it's the 4th or 5th of July, is the total solar eclipse. In your sign, Cancer. Okay, and there's only 3 eclipses this week, and one of them's in Cancer. That's your sign in the middle of the year, and the other 2 are in December. Have been in January and in December, and they are in the sign of Capricorn. And the reason I'm telling you that is because this is Capricorn's card. And there's an integral link between our signs. I'm a Capricorn, actually, Cancer. There's an integral link between the sign of Cancer and Capricorn this year, and brought about, emphasized by those eclipses. It's really a time to manifestation for us both this year, both our signs this year, and a sign of transformation for everybody. And it'll specifically affect you this week, though. What a lovely start for the week. What a lovely energy to start off with, though, this week. This is about you feeling as the King of Pentacles. The Pentacles is the energy where we put our energy and effort in order to manifest security and stability. So you're doing that this week. You're putting in energy to nurture, to garner your security and your stability this week with the King of Pentacles. You feel very in control. You feel very confident. You feel very... I want to say happy, but it's like sure of you seem very certain about something, about your success, about what you can bring to the table, to the relationship, to the group, to the job, whatever it is. You're very confident in what you have to offer, and this is because you've done we've all been through it this year, 2019. It's been a very up and down year. It's been a very it's been a year where we've been confronted with lots of new things that make us think about our identity, and that make us think about who we are as a person and how we express ourselves, and if we're being authentic, and you have been through it and you've lived it. It's very hard to ignore it, as a Capricorn and Cancer this year, especially, but for all signs, and you have been through it this year, but now coming into June, you seem to be in a place where you know your worth, you know what you can bring, you know what your contribution can be. So let's look at love then. First of all, we've got the second time I've seen this card today, 9 of Swords, same position as well, and the King of Cups. So now it's interesting, we've got 2 king cards, so we've got action, we've got activity going on this week, and I've said to you about activity straight away. I could feel that mental energy, you doing things and saying things and thinking things and coming up with ideas and coming up with plans of action, and knowing that you can see something through, and knowing that you can create something and have something that you want. And in this instance, it might be relationships. Now, because these are relationships, these 2 cards, but apply it to your life. I'll give you the general reading, the general energy. 9 of Swords, so like all 9s related to the Virgo's energy, the Hermit, and that's all about the diligence that we must have when we actively look within to try to understand our foundations, the root of something, what we think about something, what we feel about something, why we want to put our energy where we want to put our energy, what we think success is, and also the things that we are afraid of, the things that we're afraid when it comes to confronting, when it comes to gaining our security, the things that we're afraid to confront but we must if it comes to being successful, the things that we are afraid to but must confront in our feelings when it comes to our emotions about a specific person, a specific group, a specific idea, etc. So this is very interesting, and I love this card. Actually, I'm learning to love these cards because they're all active, the number 9s, because it's about gaining something, seeing something, feeling something new, with the 9 of Cups, recognizing that you're afraid with the 9 of Wands. And this is seeing your anxiety, seeing the things that have worried you and concerned you, and that you maybe have pushed down when it comes to a relationship. And remember, I always say about the King of Cups that the river runs deep with the King of Cups. So the King of Cups, like this could be you or the other person in a relationship, because these are related to love, but apply it to your life generally anyway. This is you or them keeping your emotions beneath the surface, not expressing them, not explaining them, not acting on them necessarily, because you are emotionally mature. You've matured emotionally in a sense that you are able to manage your emotions, but that doesn't, being able to manage our emotions doesn't necessarily mean that we are in control of them, if that makes sense. We need to be able to engage with our emotions, and you can go too far that way, and I'm like that because this is why I've been so ill recently, because I get extremely involved in my job, in my work, in what I do, and I give so much to it because I love it, and it's important to me to be the best that I can be in the work that I do. But actually, by just continually to act on my emotions and my intuition all the time, it's completely draining my body and my soul. I just had no energy. I've been in bed for I don't even know how many weeks. But anyway, so we can go 2 ways, So that's what I mean. I might be the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups even, but you have to have balance. You have to have awareness of how these emotions affect your actions, how these emotions affect your self-esteem, how these emotions affect how you treat other people, for example. And with the combination of these 2 cards, that's exactly what you get this week. You come into awareness and clarity and understanding about a relationship, or about your attitudes towards relationships, where they may stem from. It might be because of a difficult past love relationship. It might be because of a difficult friendship. It might be because you were bullied some time in your life. It might be because of the upbringing with your parents, for example. So it could be anything that has affected your ability to fully engage with your emotions when it comes to intimate relationships and interpersonal relationships as well. This week, it's about realizing, understanding, overcoming that. There's a victory this week. It's about seeing it, recognizing it. So we talk about this card, the Nine of Swords, being the dark night of the soul. But, you know, I call it, you know, it's like being made aware of everything, you know, seeing all your anxieties. Remember, sword energy is about our thoughts, our minds, our clarity, our consciousness, our communication, our awareness. And the sword energy is about that and communicating our awareness. And with the number 9, it's about seeing. It's about coming into that awareness of, this is what I think about this person, about this event, about this past thing. And that in itself is healing for you. It's strengthening for you. And it's a source of victory. It's something maybe that you've been overcoming for some time. We've got the more general energies now. You can relate this to work. You can relate this to money. We've got these energies here now. This is anything other than love, but it could be love as well, okay? You apply it to your life. This is the energy for you. We've got the 4 of Swords beneath this 8 of Swords now. So number 4 is, remember, the 4th house in the Zodiac, if you will, in the Astrology. In the, what's it? Yeah, the Zodiac, you know, that's the Zodiac, isn't it? Whereas it's a pie, isn't it? And the 4th house, anyway, this is in 12 houses, and the 4th house is all about the roots, where we come from, our families, our upbringing, our education, what we were taught, our nurture, basically, where we're from, the ground. And sword energy, as I said, our consciousness, our awareness, our thoughts, our minds, our clarity, our communication. So we call this a meditation card because it's about getting to the root of understanding, taking that time out to recognize, to identify the foundations of your life, the root cause of why you are the way you are in this specific area in your life, whatever that might be for you. And you know, see, the interesting thing about this is we've had, this is a card that's repeated as well. I think it was, I can't remember which sign it was. It's one of the fire signs. Feel free to check it out. And they had these 2 cards, and I talked about the eclipse right at the start of their reading as well. And I said to them that the eclipses this year, because they are really about refining us, you know, revealing ourselves, you know, just removing a layer each time so that we get to the truth, the real authenticity of who we are, and so that we work on that. We put energy into understanding our truth, ourselves. And it's a slow process, you know. I mean, I think that we think that healing is a quick thing, you know. Oh my god, yeah, I realise that's because of my daddy issues, or because my mummy issues, or whatever, or my ex-boyfriend cheated on me, or whatever, so that's an issue that I have. But actually the actual truth of the healing, the actual process, takes years and years and years and years. Because it's one thing, because all it does, one piece of awareness only just invites another 10 million questions. So it's like saying, you know, okay, my mum and dad, this isn't about me, this is just general. My mum and dad were divorced when I was a child, and therefore, you know, I have concerns about whether I will be married, for example, whether I want to get married, for example. I've got attachment issues, for example, yeah, that might be how one person thinks, yeah. So you think, oh my god, that's awareness, like that's so great, that's like awareness. I've come into this awareness, I know this right now. But that was my American accent. I hope you love it, darlings. But just knowing that, okay, so yeah, my mum and dad divorced when not me, again, no judgment. Anyway, mum and dad divorced when I was younger. It's given me issues in relationships going forward, for example. Now, that is like the title of the book. Then you write a book on all the ways that actually affects you today, in all the ways it's affected all the decisions you've ever made in your life, in all the ways it's ever affected the relationships you've been in, the jobs that you've gone for, the education, the level of education that you attained, your self-esteem, how you feel about what your political leanings are, everything. That's the 9. That's what we get with the 9 of Swords as well. So those questions, these are refinements, these are ways that we can understand who we are and recognise who we are. And that's really what you're coming into this week, Cancer. You've got to prepare, because we come to, I think it's the 5th or the 4th, I'll do the full astrology when we get to the beginning of July. You've got this eclipse coming up in your sign, and remember, eclipses are huge, seismic, life-changing, once in a lifetime, shifts in your perspective, in your actions, in your relationships, in your job, in your work, in whatever area it's going to affect you, and it will. So it's like you're being prepared to make these huge changes that are no doubt going to hit you like a bus, hit us like a bus, I should say, come July, come the eclipse in your sign, my darlings. But let's have a look, see how this sort of works out for us this week. So we've got the moon. And when does the moon? Yeah, it's on the full moon in Sag on the 17th. So we've got the full moon in Sag on the 17th there. You can read the description box below, or check out my Instagram and Facebook for the full description of these energies and the full astrology for the month of June, because I've already done them. But it's interesting, isn't it? We've got this is your energy, isn't it? Cancer, the moon here. You come out here. And I said, didn't I? It's like becoming more you, revealing parts of who you are, putting energy into understanding this aspect of myself, like how I treat other people, right? How I accept other people treat me, right? How do I accept compliments, right? How am I motivating myself, right? How do I approach people, blah, 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 and so on and so on. This is kind of what this energy is, and it's like it's starting to be revealed to you. You're starting to see, become aware of, engage with your truth, in your reality, your authenticity. And it could be anything, in a relationship, in a job, whatever it is for you, in a love match, whatever. But it's victorious, you see. You've got to see this as, yes, excellent, moving away from. You've got to see this week as a victory, because it's the awareness, it's the taking time out to recognize, taking time out to realize, to see something, to understand how far down you've hidden your feelings, and why you've hidden your feelings. And it's that process that gives you strength. So the moon card here is saying you can use it as, apply it to you. But with the moon, in fact, I will actually urge you, Cancers, to read the post on Instagram or Facebook about the moon energy. It'll be below the videos of Pisces season. So the videos from March, you can check February, March, check those out to read the description box below. But I give a very good description of this energy, because it's like there's nothing separating where you are now to where you've been, to where you're going in the future, from how you feel now to how you felt in the past to how you may feel. There's nothing separating any of those. There's no veils, there's no walls anymore in your consciousness, in your psyche. It can be quite overwhelming to sort of get that sort of download, if you will. It kind of, to get that sort of download about yourself, to come into that awareness in such speed, if you will, almost. You've been working up to it, if you will, but it might hit you a bit hard. You might think, bloody hell, God, I can't believe I know all this, and I realise all this, and I see all this now, and I'm making all these connections, and I'm overwhelmed, and I'm upset, and I'm happy that I can see it, but everything. So it's kind of like there's a lot coming at you this week in terms of self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing how you feel, knowing how past events have affected you, knowing how past events affect you currently and affect your self-esteem, affect your identity, blah, blah, blah. So it's that type of energy this week. So, I mean, I hope you like this energy. This is what really, I've not done Capricorn yet, but I reckon Capricorn will be quite similar to this reading. I do feel it will be quite a similar reading. And remember, we've got to see, as I said this week, through this perspective, victory, joy, gaining something, recognition for the work that you've done. And this is recognition, this card, and this is self-recognition, other people recognising your strength, what you've been through, what you've overcome, etc. But there's a real strength you're feeling, and you're actually willing to, I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to go to the counselling so that I can I'm going to keep going to the therapist so that I can understand. I'm going to decide to go to a therapist. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm not going to get angry when he asks me that. I'm going to answer the question as opposed to being defensive. For example, those are the types of energies and the thoughts that you might be experiencing this week. Okay, so my darling Cancers, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Leave me your comments and let me know feedback wise how you find these shorter readings. I have to do shorter readings with less cards because it's way too intense for me doing the readings that I used to do, hence I've been ill for so long. So let me know. I'll read your comments, and I will I might not respond to all of them, but I will read them all. I will be back next week with your new intuitive reading for this for the following week. And as I said, if you like it does, and share my videos, that helps to support my channel. Thank you so much for being here, my darling Cancers. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all again next week with your brand new reading. Take care, my darlings. Bye.